Obi-do, it's everyone's favorite boomer and vintage lens enthusiast. And today, yet again, we're going to discuss SMC PENTAX-A zoom constant f4 24 to 50 millimeters. It's on the Pentax K-50. What a killer combo this is. Now, I've discussed this lens in the past, and I put it on other more modern mirrorless cameras, and I said how it had trouble focusing at infinity. And I always thought, well, if it's only off by a couple thousands, maybe, if I was to modify an adapter, I could focus at infinity, which would be easier than taking everything apart and adjusting it. This thing is a beauty to behold. I mean, the design, the engineering, it was just a fantastic piece of industrial magic. Two-touch, I love two-touch because you don't have to worry about zoom creep. It is a lens, but I usually leave it on to pick my own apertures. I have it in M mode, so I pick an aperture, and then after you're done focusing on a subject, you press this green button, and then the camera picks a shutter speed for you. Pentax really improved their cameras over each iteration. That means the K100D, which I still have, the K200D, which I hadn't got rid of, the KR, and then the K50. This thing's claim to fame is it has a solid glass pentaprism, just like an old school film SLRs, where most modern DSLRs had a pentamirror. That's where they had a couple pieces of glass that were silvered, and they were hollow, right? And they were lightweight. So, but they also did shenanigans with the view screen. They didn't have a full focusing view screen. It was more of an aerial screen. So not only does the focus confirmation light light up when you're in focus, but you can actually see the image focus on the screen, which is amazing. And I hit like over 90% good focus with this thing, which scared the crap out of me. But then at 50 millimeters, it just doesn't focus. You get right there and it's just not in focus. So anything closer than infinity, you can get good shots with. And it's not parfocal. That means if you focus at 5 foot at 50 millimeters and you go down to 24, it's out of focus. Without a doubt. You can see it in the viewfinder. A lot of those old lenses of that time period are like that. They're not parfocal. Some are better, where they don't get too much out of focus, but this gets pretty much out of focus. And conversely, if you focus at 24 millimeters and you want to zoom up, yeah, you're going to be way out. So, but it's just infinity's just barely out. So I went to yet another car show. I went to the car show they were having at the River Edge High School, which is in Oradell. I don't know. So it was a really nice show. I got there at 8 o'clock because it started at 8 o'clock. But they didn't let the car. There are some cars in the lot, but most of them are on the side street that is the entrance for this school. And they were just parked there waiting for them to open up. So it was 8:15. I said, "Oh, what's going on?" I asked one guy. He goes, "Oh, don't ask me," So, yeah, around 8:20, they did open up, and they had like a little parade. Each car drove up. They asked the attendant, which way should I go? He pointed in some direction. And I took a lot of pictures of the cars as they pulled up at the stop sign. And then I walked around and took some more usual pictures. And I got really, really good results at f11. Really, really good results. So this lens is adequate at f8. It's usable at f5.6. At f4, well, you could take a picture at f4. But f11 is the sweet spot, without a doubt. Wide range of sharpness. The images were crisp and contrasty. I did take one picture facing sort of into the sun, and it had like sort of like a, it didn't have any light blobs, but it definitely had low contrast as the sun bounced around and all the elements and everything. So I just gotta say once again, the K-50 has a reputation for having trouble with this thing called the aperture block. There's a solenoid in there that stops the you focus wide open, and you do your let's see, am I wide open? Yeah. So when you push this button, the aperture stops down. You can see it in the viewfinder. It gets dark for a second, and then it picks the shutter speed. Then when you push the button, it stops back down again, and the mirror pops up and the shutter trips. But sometimes this solenoid that stops down the aperture doesn't work, and it's like 30% failure rate. So you gotta keep that in mind. Otherwise, it's a really excellent camera. Really, really, really nice camera. I like it. And I'm a Canon guy. So all right, the SMC PENTAX-A zoom, constant f4, 24 to 50 millimeter is a really, really killer combo on a Pentax K50. I gotta say that, without a doubt. And why don't we just jump right into the pictures, and then you can check it out and see for yourself. You know, I thought it took some really great pictures. I was very pleased with them. And, well, let's jump right into the slideshow and look at it, shall we? The River Edge car show was supposed to start at 8 o'clock, and I got there a little after 8. And this road goes into the high school parking lot. And I walked in and I saw like everyone parked there. And when I went into the high school parking lot where the show's supposed to be, like here, there are some cars there, but only a couple. So I asked one attendant, and he goes, well, I don't know what's happening. You know, it's supposed to start soon. So I said, well, I guess they're going to have a parade. So I took a couple snapshots of the cars that must have got there early. And then I went back and I hung out at the entrance gate. I figured, well, if they're going to have a parade, I might as well take advantage of it, right? And then I took some shots down the street, because all these classic cars are parked there, right? Like a traffic jam or something. This is right when they opened the gates up. And I said, oh, I better run back to the entrance and get in position. This Pentax lens really did a good job, because none of the pictures were at infinity. Everything was closer to infinity, and I was able to get a focus confirmation through the camera. And the lens, the view screen actually lets you focus on it too. So of course I wanted to get like all these different pictures under different lightings at different positions. And it's a really good lens. I'm still doing some more tests about the infinity focus thing to see how bad it is. It's pretty bad at 50 millimeters. So alright, here's everyone's pulling up. There's a stop sign there. They stop. They ask the attendant where they're supposed to go. And then they just pull in like this and find a spot. And always the vet guys always hang out together. The weird cars, one-off cars hang out together. The muscle cars hang out together. Oh, there's some, the Stangs always hang out together. This one was a little blurry. I don't know, why was I using 1/100th of a second? I was pushing the green button, and it was just doing what it wanted to do, I guess. I mean, it's bright sun, and I had an F11. So if I was verifying with the green button, which sets the manual exposure, I don't understand why I would get some weird values. It was really warm. It was like 8:30 in the morning. It was like in the mid-80s. There wasn't a cloud in the sky, and the sun was just beating down and everything. But it looks like it settled in that 1/320th of a second at ISO 400 and F11. See, there's the attendant pointing to this guy, go over there. I mean, these cars are so cherry. I mean, they were just nice looking set of automobiles. And then, you know, you get a car like this purple car, or say, oh, here's a cherry car, huh? And you know, everything's just gleaming in the sun. There are a lot of red cars there. How many red Mustangs were there? Quite a number. I've seen this guy at a couple different shows. And this is what you do. Say you go to a couple shows, you see a lot of the same cars at the shows. And then if you don't go to shows for a couple years, then you see like a different group of cars come in. Maybe people fall out of going to car shows or whatnot. I mean, it's cheap enough to enter a show. It's usually $20 on the day and 15 if you pre-register. So it's like if you went to like 5 or 6 shows, it's not going to cost you that much money. I mean, if you got enough money to have a cherry car like this, the entrance fees to these shows is minuscule if you think about it. Yeah, here's some sort of Eagle, a Chimera, a Jet. Yeah, it's like they get close-ups on the cars and their detail and everything. Like this yellow car, I see him around a lot, and this black car always parks right next to them. They're buddies or something, car show buddies. So here's the juxtaposition of this purple and black and the yellow. This looks like the same headlights they got in the yellow, except they flipped them around. I've never seen this car before. This is a new car I haven't seen. A Javelin or something. And there's this first trike I seen at a show. And so where the entrance was, I just walked around from one side and I went over to the other side. And this way I could get different perspectives and lightings. I'm sure that this car, this is an aftermarket hood ornament for this car. Here's the trophies. So this lens is so good as long as you're not at infinity. It takes excellent pictures. Of course, you gotta stop down to f11 to get the best picture, fidelity though. It's a well-made, well-engineered lens. I mean, it looks like this beautiful gem-like quality, but I don't know if they're all like that. It's like, what am I gonna do? Buy 3 of them just to see if they're all like that? No, I don't think so. Its claim to fame is that you don't have to push a button or go into a special macro mode. It just focuses real close on its own, which is nice. See, here's a row of vets. They were all stuck together. I like to zoom up on detail of the cars too, see what it's all about. This is that Javelin guy, I think. This is the engine in his car. I don't think that's the original engine. Some of these guys, they put big engines into little cars. I like the orange stripes on the seats here. 24 millimeter really helps. That little extra couple millimeters on a crop sensor really helps. There's a big difference between 24 and a 28 millimeter, without a doubt. So I got there earlier. There weren't too many crowds, and of course, there's always like I try to leave a person in, for scale or perspective, and this way, and then you don't have to worry too much about their faces. I try and take pictures when they're turning away, sort of like when Donald Trump turned away when he went to shoot his head and he only got his ear. And then I try to blur people out so they're not too recognizable if they get too close, or say the image scale is too fine. But it held up really good. I mean, if you look at all the pictures marked B, those are the second a close-up, a 1-to-1 crop from the previous frame, and it did a really good job. But I noticed like this lens and digital cameras, they seem to like man-made things like buildings and cars and utility poles and airplanes, but natural things, they get aliased or something. I don't know how to explain it. Like fine detail, like in a forest, it's rare where you get a lens and a camera that you can like count the blades of grass. And it likes large but contrasting colors, as opposed to like a row of green trees. Cameras don't seem to like that for some reason. I don't know. Corvette Stingray. When was the last time I seen a Rambler like this? Is that a Ford? No, that's a Ford. The Ford Rambler. I thought a Rambler was a make and a model. These guys parked in the only spot of sun on the south side of the parking lot. Raw power. There's just a lot of nice cars there. It was an excellent day for a car show. Although it was really, really hot. Really hot. I mean, by 10 o'clock I was done. I was toast. I had to get out of there. Yeah, we had this Bermuda High heat dome for like 3 weeks. And 70. Here, look at this. There's some low contrast sun flare for you, even though I was using a lens hood. This guy's got a vinyl decal that he put over his car, but you'd have to look really close to see that it was like a vinyl decal. Some old license plate. Now they make you surrender your license plates. If you don't surrender your license plates, they figure you got the car, and they make you have insurance on it. So you gotta bring your old license plate. I always make sure I get the receipt that it was turned in. Two yellow, two red. How about that? Maybe these cars were parked together because they were the same color or something. It's a nice lens with caveats. You should think about getting one.